Hey everyone, it's Skyee here and welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you're new. So today we're going to be starting on our September color along, which I'm super excited for. We're going to be using the Prismacolors for this color along, so I've got those. And the page that we are doing is Spring Reading, and this is a Hannah Lynn exclusive from Patreon. So back before I officially started YouTube again, I kind of already had coming back to the channel in the works. Hannah posted a preview for this, and this was back in April, and I just absolutely adored her, so I did make a post telling you guys that she would eventually be a color along, and to grab that page if you wanted to join. Unfortunately, if you didn't sign up for Hannah's Patreon during that month, you cannot get this picture anymore. Hannah keeps her pages exclusive for each month, so you can't get previous pages. You can only join and get the current month's pages. So hopefully you guys went and grabbed this page because I'm super excited to color it for you. I just had to color this page because of her little space buns, and then just the whole layout of the background is super cute. I just adore it. So Hannah's Patreon will be linked down in the description below. This is the paper that I printed my page onto, just in case you're interested. I do have my Amazon idea list linked below, so if you click on that, then it kind of gives you subcategories like adult coloring, miscellaneous stuff, budgeting, that kind of thing. So if you click on the coloring or stuff I recommend, just kind of sort through those. I do have this linked somewhere in there if you wanted to check that out. Everything else and then some will probably be linked in the description box below, or linked in that idea list as well if you're interested. This is my new book that has the color swatches in it. I had to get this notebook because of the little bees. It reminded me of my friend Bee, and I absolutely love this pattern. It's so cute. I am just obsessed with it. So before I had my color swatches in this little holder here, and this, I actually got the idea of using this from Craving for Coloring, Jannie over at Craving for Coloring. So I did this page, and I really like how this turned out. It looks really nice, but I just didn't like that it was one separate page. I've just thought that it would be like easy to lose the combinations or just lose this whole sheet itself. So I didn't really like that. And then I wanted to make color swatches for some of the other mediums that I have, and I figured it would just be too much doing it on separate pages. So I actually redid them and put them in this notebook here. So this is what I've got so far. I've got swatches for my Prismas. I've kind of kept them single-sided. So 3 pages for that. I've got my Derwent Inktense finally swatched out. And then I went ahead and did the polychromos. And I think that's the last one I have so far. So all of my color swatches are in this book. It's super handy, I think. I haven't quite used it yet, but so far I really like it. I think it's going to work really well. So hopefully that's everything that I needed to say. Let's go ahead and dive on in. Hopefully the lighting is okay. As always, I'm running short on time to record this. Normally I'd be fine, but since it's kind of the end of summer, we're kind of getting into doing quite a bit more to try and make the most of summer and whatnot. So don't really have a lot of free time. So I'm going to record at least one part every day after work, and then hopefully have it done so that way I can start editing it in time to have it up for the Rainbow members who get access to the videos a week early. So even though this doesn't go public until the 2nd of September, Rainbow members will have it the end of August, so on the 26th. So I have to make sure that I have it ready for that. I'm not quite sure where I want to start here. I'm thinking skin, because that always takes up a good chunk of time. I usually always do like the skin or the hair first. I did print off this as well. So for Hannah's Patreon, the way she has it, I'll just give a little bit of explanation here just in case you guys are interested. If not, I'll leave a timestamp to skip ahead to when I start talking about this. So at the bronze level, which is I think is $2, you get a simplified and a detailed version of this page. So right now, this one here is the detailed version, and then this one here would be the simplified version. So that's what you get at the bronze level. So at the silver level, then you get the simplified and detailed, obviously, because it's tiers. So you would get everything in the previous level plus some extras. So then you also get this page, which features 2 bookmarks and then 2 kind of artist trading card size pages. You also get a journal page. There's a calendar. There's a digistamp. What else is there? Bookmarks, calendar, digistamp. There's one more because there's 4, a journal, I think. I don't know if I said that, journal page. Anyways, you get 4 additional versions of the monthly page, as well as a mid-month bonus page. So you'll get 1 extra page as well, a new design that releases in the middle of the month. And then at the gold tier, which is $9.99, I think, so around $10, you get all of that plus grayscale versions of both the main page and the mid-month page. And then it just kind of goes up from there, including PDFs and artist editions and paperbacks and this and that. So this would have been available in silver. I printed off this page and I actually did this. I actually colored her for a marker tutorial, and I thought it would be neat to use this page for that video because now I have a general idea of what she will look like. So this is our goal. I might make a few minor adjustments to our page, but I think for the most part, this is the color scheme that I'm going to follow. So yeah, with that being said, let's go ahead and dive on in. I think I do want to start with skin first, so I am going to grab the colors and then I'll meet you back. All right. So I think I got all of the colors that we're going to need. I'm going to grab my pencil sharpeners here. I'm going to go ahead and sharpen up my Parma Violet. All right, so I'm going to go in with the peach and I'm just going to do kind of like a base layer all over. First, I want to see what you guys can see. Right, so do face and neck, and then I gotta move up for the arms, so hopefully I'll remember. Okay, so I'm just gonna do a light base layer here, so I'm just lightly going over pretty much all of her skin. Finally made a trip to Michael's to pick up some more blender pencils because I only have like maybe 3/4 of one left, and I'm pretty sure I had extras, but I can't find them. So either they're lost or I must have used them. And then I grabbed some more Uniball Signal white pens, a couple of those, and then a couple more Jelly Roll pens, also in white, because none of my white pens were working, and then I need to replace my Poscas as well. I thought Michael's sold Poscas, but apparently they don't, which is kind of weird. They have, like, I swear, every other kind of paint pen, but I could not for the life of me find Poscas. So I had to order those off of Amazon. So I'm hoping that they'll show up before we're done coloring her. If not, I might have to use, I could probably use my Uniball Signals actually for the details. It's just not as easy on, it's not as easy, goodness, my brain just totally blanked. It's not as easy to use on Prismacolors is what I was gonna say. Just because of the waxiness, it kind of clogs up the pen a little bit. So I do prefer Poscas when I'm working with Prismacolors, but it's not too bad. It's manageable. At least we'll have that as an option. Okay, so I'm doing this layer so light that you guys can probably barely see it. And we do have feet in this picture. Now, I'm not sure if she's wearing socks or like tights, or if we should do her feet kind of like skin tone. Should probably pull up a reference picture. Kind of do that while I'm mindlessly coloring here. Facebook updated, and ever since they did, I can't find anything, I swear. Okay, there they are. So I can get to the photos, but I can't find albums. What the heck? Maybe files? No. There we go. Side button, that's weird. Okay, so I want spring reading. Okay, so it looks like a lot of people did her feet just as is, and it actually looks really cute. So I think we're gonna go ahead and do that too. Oh, I guess I should put that down. I was just gonna say I should be using my swatches. I don't remember grabbing it, but it is there. You probably just couldn't see it. I'm so sad that it's already the middle of August. It feels like summer just started, and I don't feel like I've done much either for like summer stuff, which is unfortunate. We are gonna go to the city. Sometime this week, actually, I think on Wednesday. So today is the 14th. So yeah, we're gonna go on Wednesday to the city. So the boys want to hit up the kind of like water park / outdoor pool there. And then they have Oriental Gardens right beside it. We want to go walk around in there. I've never been in the garden, so I don't know how big it is or what there is to see or whatnot, but it looks really pretty. So I think it'll be nice to kind of take a stroll through there and then maybe catch a movie, depending on how much time the boys spend swimming. Go for supper, that kind of thing. So that'll be fun. And I do work 4 days this week instead of the 3 because my a friend of mine that works with me needs some time off. So to help out, I'm covering a shift just to make it so everybody doesn't have to completely overwork. So that gives me a limited amount of time for this too, which is why I want to do it after work. Okay, let's go with the Parma Violet. And we're just gonna start adding this into our shadows. I'm just gonna start with like a medium pressure and then kind of work this out. I would like to get her skin as tan as it is I would like to get her skin as tan as I was able to with the markers, but I'm always like really paranoid about skin, so we'll see. I'll probably end up chickening out and going too light, but hopefully we can get it tanned up a little bit. Yeah, with everything going on this week and then working an extra day and then we've got family stuff on Friday, it's really gonna feel like I only have a day off, which I guess isn't too bad because then I go to work for 3 days next week and then I'm off for 11 days, so I'm really looking forward to that. I like to add noses to the girls. Feel free to do so or not. So I like to just kind of like just base out a nose lightly here, and I usually have it kind of curving and arcing up to kind of like the eyelid line here, because I find for me it just looks funny if it goes all the way up to their eyebrows. I don't know why. I'm just gonna loosely make that kind of shape there. I want her nose to be a little bit narrow. Yes, and this one, I actually just put one line on her nose, and that actually looks kind of cute. So maybe we won't do it so much face on. Even though she is kind of like directly facing, I think it looks a little bit cuter with just having the one side as if her nose is turned. So that's an easy fix. I'm just gonna go ahead and erase this. And I'm just gonna bring it in a little closer. All right, so then we'll keep adding in our shadows here. So I hope you guys are doing good and enjoying your summer. Anything new or exciting happening or happen at all this summer? Let's see if her nose is turned that way. I guess we probably have more of a shadow on this side. I don't really know exactly, so I'm just gonna kind of shadow all around her lip here. I want to give her like a little pointy tip to her nose because I think that would be cute. It's gonna look a little bit funny for now. I'm just gonna kind of darken up this shadow and bring it out a fair ways. So I'm hoping that will kind of help make her skin look a little bit more tanned. Maybe. I'm just going to bring this shadow out a little bit because that will help add some depth, and it will also help hide that line that I had there. And then this I'm just going to kind of bring straight down, following the same line that I had there, but I'm not going to curve it either way. I'm just going to add that lightly in there because we want it to be a little bit subtle. She's a hot mess right now, but hopefully we can get her looking super cute. All right, so that was the Parma Violet. We've already used the peach. Just gotta keep track so I can, let you guys know what colors we've used already. All right, so I'm going to step a little bit out of the box and I'm gonna use this chestnut color. I'm hoping this works. So I wanna add a little bit of this just kind of over top in the shadows here. So I'm just going a little bit over the Parma Violet. I'm just completely winging it at this point, so I really hope that it turns out because I only printed one copy of this. And I like to let the ink sit for a couple days before I start coloring the page. So if I have to restart, it's gonna take me a while. So let's hope this works. I feel like so far it looks okay, so go in with the nectar now and go ahead and sharpen mine. We have a stitch at the door. Come on. Come on. He probably just wants water and then he'll hightail it out of here right after, but we'll see. Right, so still using that same kind of medium pressure. I'm going to bring the nectar in over top of where we've already colored. And I'm going to bring it out a little bit. I feel like in order to get that tanned look, we might want a little bit more nectar than we normally would. Hopefully I can get her skin smooth. It's been a while since I colored on this paper. And even though it is really good paper, this was recommended to me by a lot of different people, I still prefer the Create Space paper. I don't know why, call me crazy. I probably am a little bit. But I just feel like there is so much tooth to the Create Space paper, and I think that's why a lot of people don't like it. But I feel like unless I'm using that paper, I burnish way too early and then things look streaky, and I'm just not usually a fan, so I should be able to layer quite a bit on this paper though, so hopefully we won't have an issue. I think this is looking good so far, so I think I'm just gonna go in and just start sticking with that medium pressure, but I'm just gonna slowly build up on it to a firm pressure and kind of start burnishing the shadows a little bit, and then we'll fade out with the nectar. I don't want to burnish her cheeks because we're going to be adding blush to those. I think I'm pretty happy with the shadowed areas, but I do want to fade the nectar out a little bit better just so it blends a little bit easier in with the peach. And I do want to add some of the nectar here, so I'll just go lightly in here. Kind of just block out to where it's going to come out. I can kind of start burnishing down here a little bit. I'm just kind of starting off again with a medium pressure and just gradually building that pressure up, kind of fading it out into the areas where we haven't quite colored yet, but I want to keep that pressure in around the shadows. Whoop. I'm just going to fly that off of there. Okay, let's go in with our peach again. Where did oh, it's up here. I think I want to mostly just focus on her cheeks right now. That way we can get the blush color in. So I'm just going to kind of start blocking in about to where the peach is going to go. And I think for this darker skin tone, actually, I think it's just going to kind of go over everything. And then we will do a final burnish and kind of blend with the light peach, I think. So I'm just going to get a bit of layer on her cheeks here. Okay, then we'll grab our blush color. So I'm going to grab the Process Red. I'm going to start this right in the corner here. And I'm going to bring this out and start fading it out right around here on both sides. Kind of use their eyes as a measurement, especially if their heads are turned. It kind of helps because if her head was turned, let's say she was facing this way, there wouldn't be as much blush on this cheek that you could visibly see as there would be on this cheek. So I like to use their eyes as kind of a measurement for that. That way it always looks a little bit more lifelike and just more kind of like measured out, I guess. So then from there, we'll just fade it out lightly. Okay, next we're going to go in with the hot pink. And this one I'm going to bring kind of like to the middle of the pupil here and then fade that out. So around the middle of her eye. I'm just going to lightly keep layering that and adding color to it until I'm happy with it. Same thing on this side. I think that looks good. So let's go back in with our nectar, I think. Because then we can kind of start burnishing the rest of the shadows a little bit. So again, just using that medium pressure and just kind of building up on it. Just slowly working into a firmer pressure and then fading it out. And depending on the type of paper you're using, you might not have to do as many layers as I do. Paper is definitely quite different. And this paper I feel like takes a lot of layers, and even then like it just looks so streaky and I don't know why. I'll have to look at some of my other pages that I've done on this paper and see if that's just the paper or what, because I don't remember it looking like this, but maybe it always did. I'm not sure. Hopefully it looks a little bit smoother on camera. So I can only go over the same areas so much. Also, as much as I love this paper, I feel like it's kind of like misleading sometimes because it'll look like it's not going to take any more pencil, but then it still will. So it's hard to tell when it's fully burnished and when it's not a good idea to add more. I feel like it could just kind of go forever, but it doesn't look like it could. I think this might be good here for the nectar, so let's move on to the peach. I'm going to sharpen mine, get a nice point on it. I think around her eyes here, I'm just going to go straight in with the peach and kind of add a really decent layer there, starting off with a medium pressure and lightly building up on that pressure. I'm going to blend it into the shadows a little bit. I don't want to blend it into the shadows too much because I don't want to fully burnish the shadows because I do want to go over everything with the light peach after. Maybe, potentially, if we need to. So I just want to keep that as an option if we need to. She's looking on camera. All right, well, on camera she doesn't actually look too bad. We might not even need the light peach actually. I think I'm going to use the peach to burnish everything. Just because it's giving us that kind of tanned look that I'm going for, and I'm worried that if I try and use the light peach to kind of burnish everything, it's going to fade it out a bit too much and then end up looking more pale than I want. So I'm just going to slowly layer over everything, gradually increasing the pressure to kind of burnish everything. And I'm just going to go over the same areas as much as I need to get them to look smooth, or as smooth as possible. Doesn't feel super waxy yet, but at the same time, it looks like it should be burnished, but it's still taking more. And I'm just having a hell of a time trying to get it smoothed out. I think it looks good there. Let's see. Looks pretty smooth on camera, so we're gonna go with it. So we're gonna follow the same steps on the rest of her skin. Let's start with her left arm here. So starting in with our Parma Violet, we're just gonna pick out some shadows here. So I'm going to put a shadow behind her forearm here. Kind of fade that out a little bit. So that means that we're also going to put a shadow kind of along this arm here. It's just going to be a slight shadow. It's going to be a little bit darker where her head is resting in her hand here. And then I'm assuming this is skin too, so it's going to be fairly dark back here. So I'm just going to layer that a little bit. Okay, we're gonna add a little bit of cleavage here. And then it's also gonna be kind of shadowed pretty much this whole area here, especially under her chin. Let's see, here for sure. Kind of under the ruffles here, and I'm going to try and create the shadow kind of following the same outline as the ruffles. We'll put a shadow on the side of her arm too. Okay, I want this shadow in behind here to be a little bit darker, so I'm gonna build up on that color a little bit, just using some light layers. See with underneath the ruffles, mostly where they dip in. These ones kind of on her forearms, I'm just adding shadows here to add some dimension to her skin and show that it's rounded. But for the most part, her arms are going to be fairly light. Again, kind of back here on her chest is going to be pretty dark because she would be kind of casting quite a bit of shadow on it because of how her hands are positioned. That and her hands are more out front than her chest would be, so her chest would naturally be a little bit darker because it's further in the back. Okay, for her feet. I don't know, let's think on that for a second. I'm just gonna fade this shadow out a little bit more because it's quite intense. Okay, so technically we have shadows all over the place, so it doesn't really matter which direction our lighting's coming from. So I guess I'm just going to put a shadow on the top of her feet, I think. I feel like at this point, since we have shadows everywhere, it doesn't really matter where the shadow is, just as long as we have one. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. So then we'll come in with our chestnut. So I'm going to use a medium pressure for now on some of these shadows, and then I'll switch to a lighter pressure. I'll tell you when. So medium pressure on these ones. All right, and then a lighter pressure on her forearms. just going to go in light layers around some of these areas where it doesn't look like it fades out as nicely. Can't forget about her feet. So our nectar is our next color, so I'm just going to start with a light medium pressure for now. And we'll just slowly work our way out from the shadows. Kind of fade out, trying to leave highlights where we can. Maybe we do a little bit darker underneath the frill of her shirt here. Which I think should actually have shadow to it. Let's go in with the Parma Violet. Just add a slight shadow there, and then the chestnut, just lightly. There we go. Yeah, because otherwise with the rest of this portion of her arm, that spot would have been so light it would attract attention, and since it's further back, we want it to be darker. Okay, so for the most part, we can burnish the shadows, or at least start working on burnishing the shadows, smoothing it out. Fade off for the peach, which is our lightest color. I'm just going to go ahead and burnish these two spots here. And then pretty much her entire neck, but I don't want this to look too splotchy or anything. So as always, I'm going to start with a light medium pressure and slowly increase the pressure. I think for the most part, we're just going to color in this whole area. Okay, that doesn't look too bad. This spot here as well, we're just going to burnish. I'm glad we're getting the skin out of the way first. Okay, so for now, we're just going to bring the nectar out slightly from the shadows and kind of fade it out. But we might add a little bit more of it. I just kind of want to see what that'll look like once everything's kind of colored, and then see if we need to add more of this color or switch to the peach. I do want her forearms to be a fair bit lighter, but I don't want to make them too much lighter to where it doesn't match the rest of her skin. So it's best to kind of do a little bit at a time, make sure it still looks good, and kind of go from there. this back finger here, we'll just color that in. Trying to fade this out while leaving a little bit of lighter area for the peach. Alright, you're just hit an hour here, so it looks like we might be doing 1.5 hour long parts. At least for this one anyways. I figured the skin would take a little bit over an hour, but we're at least over halfway done, so it's not too bad. I think we might want to bring the nectar out a little bit farther on her arms here. It's not looking too bad, but I think if we go directly in with the peach from there, I think it might look a little funny. She looks so cute so far. Ah, I love her. Just this whole page in general. Even the one right now, well, I guess it won't be right now for you guys anymore because it'll be, unless you're a Rainbow member, it'll be the 2nd of September when this is released. But the August Patreon page, the main one, Supply Shopping, super cute. She's got space buns too, and I gotta say, I hope Hannah continues doing space buns quite often because I am just obsessed. I really wish that I could do my hair in space buns, but it's so heavy and it just doesn't like to stay. My hair has never cooperated very well, so I've been told it's because it's so healthy, which I guess is a gift and a curse because there's not much I can do with it. So I've got this weird little thing happening here. I don't know if it's just the paper or something underneath the paper, but I'm going to try and get rid of that kind of weird diamond shape there. I'm going to try sharpening my pencil and see if that makes a difference too. I think that looks good on that arm. Let's see, I'm still trying to kind of figure out, not so much that I really want the shadows to be like extremely realistic and bang on, because I'm already past that point. They're just not. But something's telling me that this arm should be lighter than this one, but I don't know. I guess again, it would just depend on where the light's coming from, but I guess since we have more of a shadow on this side of her nose, that would suggest that the light would be coming somewhat from this side. So we'll say like center of this side, so maybe like right around here might make sense. It really wouldn't, because then our shadow would actually be on this side of her arm here, but I don't know. We'll leave a little bit of extra space on this side because my instincts are telling me to, and I generally listen to them because they're usually okay. Not always right, but they're usually okay. So I think I'm just going to bring this out slightly further. I'm not going to darken it up too much more. Just kind of using like long circles. I'm just gonna lightly color this side in. I don't know why, again, because like I said, I want this to be lighter, but now that's colored in. It's fine. It'll be fine. Okay, I'm just gonna darken up around the shadows around her feet, and then I think we're good to go in with our peach. I must have flicked the swatch card off, but I was using Nectar, and now we're going in with Peach. So I'm going to start on this side here. So same as with her face, I'm just going in with a light medium pressure, building up those layers along with the pressure until I'm pretty much burnishing everything. And I won't fully burnish it as long as it looks smooth. If it doesn't look smooth yet, then I'll kind of keep going over it until I can't anymore or until I achieve smoothness. Hopefully she's not too tan. I think she looks okay. Just going to continuously add layers to this kind of barely colored skin here. Okay, I think that looks good there. So then we'll move on to this side. One thing I would love to do, and I want to talk to Hannah about this to see if she'd be game for it, but I would love to commission Hannah. I want to talk to her and like find out like what she would charge me for it. I want to commission her to create an exclusive coloring page for me that I could share with you guys for the channel. I think that would be super cute. Whether that will ever happen, I don't know, because it would all depend on Hannah and if she was willing to do it, and then price and this and that, and if I ever got around to it. But I think that would be super neat, because you guys know that she is definitely my favorite. She is a huge part of the channel. And then she's also my boss, which is super cool. I mean, technically I'm my own boss, but I work for her, so she's still technically my boss. I don't know. So I just think that would be really neat. But I don't know if she does stuff like that. So I'd have to inquire and find out. All right, there's her skin done. I do want to color her lips. Just quickly while we have these colors out. So I'm gonna start with the processed red. Actually, let's backtrack here for a sec. Let's use the light peach. And I'm gonna use that to just kind of base her lips first. So she turned out quite a bit more tan than I was going for, but I think she still looks super cute. I wonder, just using the light peach right now on her hand, just kind of testing it out to see if it does much, and I don't think it changes much. So anyways, we'll base her lips. And then I'm going to go in with the processed red just around the very edge. I don't want her lips to be too colored. I want them kind of like more nude. So just going around the edge. I'm going to lightly color in her top lip. I'm going to go in with the blush pink. I'm going to sharpen this because I want a nice sharp tip. So I'm going to kind of extend this out from the processed red. Just lightly put it in on the top as well. Just build up that color around the edges. Let's go ahead and kind of burnish the top actually. And then I'm just kind of fading in towards the middle of her lip here. And that's where we're going to go in with the light peach and kind of finish that off. Just blend this in over everything. We'll use this to kind of burnish. And then I'm just going to go in with my white. I'm going to make sure it's clean. I'm just going to try and put this over her cheeks a little bit just to make her cheeks stand out. little bit on her nose here. You can hardly see it, but it's there. I can see it a little bit. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but it added a little bit. Okay, and then let's see, I want my Posca pens and a fine liner. I kind of want to add final touches as we go, not just like all at the end. So I'm going to start with my brown fine liner and I'm going to add in some freckles on her. So I'm just doing some bigger dots and then adding like a bunch of sporadic little dots around it. Kind of to help fade it, we can add like some random ones like a little bit further up or down. You just kind of keep going until you're happy with it. I don't want too much. I think right here is good. I think I'm just gonna do her face. Super cute, I like that. I'm gonna grab my Uniball Signo Broad and I'm gonna add a little bit of like a gel pen highlight, lip gloss highlight here. And then I was thinking, I'm pretty sure either Hannah is bad at drawing toes or in her mind, her feet were in stockings, which I'm going to guess is what happened. I think she's meant to be wearing stockings, but I figure with the view of her feet that we have, I think you'd be able to see some toenail. So I'm going to use Posca pens. Her dress is going to be yellow or pink. Yellow and pink, actually. Sorry, yellow and pink. So her toenails could be yellow or pink. I think I'm going to go with pink because I feel like yellow is just a little bit too bright. So I'm going to add a little bit here and then a little bit on her toes here. I'll bring this up closer so you guys can kind of see. I want to add a little bit of a black outline as well. So I'm just going to grab a black fine liner and I'm going to try very carefully kind of going around the Posca pen that I just put in. Can you guys see? Yeah. So I'm just going to very carefully go around the Posca pen and kind of outline it. And that way it's a little bit more noticeable. There we go. So if that looks weird to you, you definitely don't have to do it. I think it looks okay. I'm a little bit iffy on this finger here because it kind of went through a bit more than I thought it would. Maybe I can knock that back by just adding a little bit more black in there. But I think that looks cute. I like that. And with that, her skin is done. So that took a whole hour and a half. That's crazy. I think I just want to, I did the same thing with the markers. I just want to accentuate her cleavage a little bit here. I don't know why, but I just feel like it needs to stand out a little bit better. So I'm just going to go in with my chestnut here. Go like this, and I'm actually going to add like a little bit of a line going this way. Okay. There. I just feel like her boobs would be kind of squished together because of the way her hands are, so I don't know. I feel like her cleavage needs to be a little bit different to reflect that. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's go ahead and zoom on out. Don't mind the mess, as always. All right, that is what we're working with so far. I think she looks adorable. I'm actually super excited to finish her. So hopefully you guys are enjoying. Hopefully you guys are as excited as I am to see her finished. As always, you can use #DreamInColorAlong to show me your progress or finished pages when you complete this if you're following along. I would absolutely love to see it. So yeah, feel free to tag me or use the channel's hashtag. That would be awesome. So I'm going to leave it here and clean up, maybe film part 2. I'm not sure. I'm kind of feeling it, kind of not. I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, I'm going to leave you guys here. As always, take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye.